Yo, yo, yo! What?
Hey.
What? Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the fourth and final week of Battle of the Cans, the virtual cook-off where you cook in. It's like if Iron Chef happened in our little kitchens right now. My name is Cameron Hebb. I'm one of the hosts, and I'm quarantining in NYC right now. So last week.
Final round.
The season finale of this non-Netflix binge.
It's really, the end of our foodie era, really.
It's like the last bite of Rocky Road and a ice cream pint.
Yes, it is. And yeah, I'm Kelsey and, living my best life in Brooklyn right now. So just a reminder why we're all here. So there are 5 amazing contestants who are with us today. They were given 3 different canned foods to choose from. And so they've incorporated those canned foods into a dish, and we're going to see what they made. So the different cans that they chose from today were kidney beans, tomatoes, any kind, and coconut milk.
Let's get 3. And each contestant is going to have 3 minutes or less to present their dish to our panel of judges and receive immediate feedback. The judging criteria is creativity, it's presentation, it's incorporation of the canned food in the dish, and it is also taste. I mean, we're gonna taste it so we're just going with it, but.
Dude, totally. And so the judges are going to vote at the end. They're going to send us their votes. The audience will have an opportunity to vote. So your vote matters, audience. And what you're going to win $50 to a local restaurant of your choice. So we're really trying to, promote supporting small businesses.
Totally. Boom. Let's get started. All right, we're going to introduce the 3 judges today. And actually, you guys, so Sarah Abernathy, who's been judging for the last 3 weeks, had a family obligation, and we have a treat. Dan Kuhn is coming to us from the hot spot of Austin, Texas. He's been working, not only does he have dance moves, but he's been working in restaurants for 17 years. He started as a busboy and is now a chef for Jacoby Restaurant Group, a ranch-to-table style operation. Dan is also a musician by the name of Doc Wop on Spotify and Apple Music. What's up, Dan?
How y'all doing?
Oh my God, so good. How you be? How's Texas?
It's hot and running with it. We're doing the best we can right now, but it's been great to keep in touch with friends. It's great to see old friends like you, Cam. I'm excited.
Total pleasure, Dan. So excited for your feedback. All right, we'll be in touch.
We got Kenji. Oh, yes, we do. Kenji has 16 years of culinary experience. He was the executive chef of the Queen's Kickshaw in Astoria, New York, and is now a freelancing chef all over the world, from Hawaii to Italy. Kenji is currently in Bushwick. Kenji, I also have to let you know, a friend texted me and was like, OMG, I think I saw Kenji out in the world. So there are now celebrity sightings of you, just so you know. Okay.
I only went out once last week. Are you not staying all the time? Are you telling me? Oh my God, it's terrible. I mean, I've been rotating around the same table each week just so I can give you guys the illusion that I'm in a different spot.
Really, it's the same.
So I don't know if we can go another 4 weeks because there's only so many directions I can point this table before you guys get sick of the apartment. So
perfect timing. Dude, how are you doing?
I'm sorry?
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm just kind of like everyone else, just ready to get out of this quarantine. But our selection today of contestants looks great again. So let's get at it. Yeah.
Dude, hear that? Let's do it.
Let's get at it. And our last judge is Nancy Hebb. Hello, Mom. Hey.
Cheers to the reason that I can celebrate Mother.
Ooh, yeah, girl.
No, it is beginning. It is beginning.
Listen, I'm going out shining with you all, and I want to first of all congratulate all of you, both the supporting cast, all the contestants, for just making this such a pleasurable experience. This has been a win-win for everybody. So sip up, and I hope everybody's got a glass of wine to celebrate this last episode.
Yes. If anyone is tuning in, some of Nancy's background is she was a director of a cooking school for many, many years, and then she moved to Florida where she was a cooking instructor at Sur La Table. She is also my mom and has often been like homemade Tabasco on my life. Very spicy. But she was in Estero, Florida, and happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you.
Thank you. I love you back, honey.
Okay.
Aww. Dude, so let's get started, right?
Please.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. So our first contestant, very exciting, is Katie. She's coming to us from Washington Heights. OMG. Katie, let's talk to you. How are you doing? Hey.
How you doing?
Dude, so good. So good to see you.
Testing roommate Danielle.
Hello.
Oh, hey.
She's going to join us for the tasting today.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, tell us more. Tell us about your dish.
So today I have made a curry coconut chili. I'll give you a little look at this first bowl that I have made right here.
Oh my God.
The rest of it is in a large pot on the stove, so we have lots of leftovers to keep us going in quarantine over here. With my taste testing roommate Danielle, in case that didn't make it onto the show. So the original recipe called for ground turkey, but today I made it vegan. So I replaced the meat with some extra diced potatoes, onions, extra kidney beans, and garbanzo beans. I looked for a recipe that tried to use as many of our cans as possible, and I hit all three. I think I did. I added diced tomatoes also, and then some thin sliced mango. And then I'm going to make this bowl and tell you the rest about it. I also, as I was sort of messing with the spices while cooking, I thought I needed something else, and it needed like something to kind of tie together the sweetness of the mango and the spice of the curry. And I thought of lime juice, and so I added a dash of lime in kind of at the end. And I think, Danielle will tell me, but I think that sort of, I don't know, added some pizzazz to our final flavors here. So I'm going to make a bowl. On the top, I'm going to put another splash of coconut milk. Just sort of swirl that around and then cut a little bit of green onion for garnish.
Ooh.
So we've got some for friends as well.
Aw, nice.
We'll give it a little taste.
Yes. This is really a great show for roommates.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that's so good. That's so good.
We're into it.
This, yeah.
Yes.
It's hearty. It's got a lot of
flavor. I don't know anything about cooking, but it's delicious.
Amazing. Dude, well, thank you so much for trying it. Okay, let's hear some thoughts. Dan, we're gonna start with you. Tell us, what are your thoughts? What are you feeling right now?
It definitely sounds interesting. Definitely I like how you tied together the sweetness and the spice with the lime juice. That's definitely kind of classic flavor balancing right there. It definitely sounds robust. It sounds like it has a lot of bright points to it, but also a lot of depth. And kind of based on your roommate's reaction, it sounds like it was a hit. So yeah, cool. Cool. It looks good.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. And dude, Kenji, where are we at? What are our feelings? What's going on?
Keep it in frame.
So, in a competition where there's going to be a lot of kind of curry-esque dishes, I guess you could say, just because of the way it's set up, like coconut milk is kind of like, you know, what You can do a couple things with it, but like usually the go-to is I'm gonna make coconut curry out of it. And then beans for kind of the protein for the body of it, for the richness and depth. So I mean, this is what can you expect? But I will say that is a really solid showing. I really like how you use the coconut milk as kind of like garnish on top. The lime as kind of like brightness to cut through the real depth and body of the curry, I think is really awesome. And also like adding the mango to it is also kind of a cool play, adding a little more sweetness to it. So I think it's a really well-rounded and very, very solid, excellent effort. So good job.
Thank you.
Nice. Okay. And finally, Nancy, what are we thinking?
So I have to say that when I read the recipe, I was pretty excited about it. I feel that I love the fact that you started inventing on your flavors. And, you're using quite a bit of the Thai harmony of flavors, whether using, I don't see the bitter in here, but I do see all the sweet and the sour. And the fact that you have that coconut milk lacing on the top too is a nice little touch. But I am more impressed by the fact that you were using ground turkey. Now, you didn't put it in today, but I think I find that ground turkey is such a wonderful protein to use. And the fact that it can be used in this dish is a real winner for people at home. It gives you that source of protein in addition to all your chickpeas and to your kidney beans. But ground turkey is kind of it's not a very popular protein when you stack it up against lean beef, right? I mean, everybody wants more. So the fact that you could put some ground turkey in it, even though it's not in the book, I know your recipe read it.
Malleable.
Nice touch.
Thank you.
All right, good deal,
Dude. Amazing. Shout out to ground turkey. Sure. And thank you for sharing your dish.
Didn't come today.
It was great.
Getting hungry. Getting hungry. Looks good.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, beautiful goddess. We have our second contestant who is coming to us from Astoria, Queens, New York. We have all women from Queens today, which I mean, all females from New York. What? Crazy. But, Schneider, where you at, girl?
Hi guys.
Hi.
You all so excited to be on the show, making sure the frame.
We're excited.
Today I cooked baked rajma, which is a South Asian dish. I'll just give you it just came out of the oven.
Oh.
So it's a kidney bean dish with tomatoes, and it normally calls for cream on top for the baking, but I decided to use coconut milk, so I got in all the 3 cans. And for those of you who follow New York Times Cooking, I've been seeing this recipe show up in my emails from New York Times for the last 3 weeks. And I've been like, oh, maybe I should cook it. It looks really good. And so it happened to have all the ingredients for this week's episode. So I was really excited that I had an opportunity to make it. So I will go ahead and do some plating. So to top the rajma, we have some pickled red onions that were pickled in lime juice, sugar, and salt. And then the recipe that I sent in just called for cilantro, but I also added some mint and green onions that I had in my fridge. So I thought, why not add some more flavor? All right.
Here we go.
Bite with everything in it.
Ooh. And Molly, could we see the top of the dish?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, it's just so beautiful.
I just put it right in. So now I took a bite out so it doesn't look as pretty. But yeah, really good, really solid flavor, a little bit of heat from the chili that's in it. The onions add a really nice, some citrus with the lime juice. Really, overall, very happy about it.
Oh, it looks beautiful. Oh my God. All right. So let's get some feedback. Yes. Dan. Where you at, Dan? Yes.
Well, I love anything you can just throw in a cast iron and just kind of put in the oven. that looks really good, I think. I'm not super familiar with the recipe itself, but based on what I've found here, it looks like you hit most of the key points. I love the pickled red onion, cilantro, and mint as the garnish. That's a very kind of classic garnish, and I love it personally as a Southern cook. We use it a lot. And then using the coconut milk sounds like it added a nice element of sweetness to it as well. So all in all, I think it looks great, and would love to try it if I could.
Right? So true. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
Kenji.
So Molly, regardless of how it goes down today, in the game of Stump the Chef, you definitely won because I had no idea what this thing was when I got the recipes earlier in the week. I was like, oh my God, like it sounded vaguely familiar, but I had to do my research. And of course, I was like, oh crap, it's like a derivative of moussaka. But after doing my thorough research and trying to make myself sound a little more like an expert than I really am, it's not. It sounded much more intimidating than it was, but still, it's just really nice, really full-body flavors once again in there. Going off of what Dan said, just like, yeah, anything in a cast iron to like throw in and bake in an oven is, gets my seal of approval. And way to go to just go and do something that I think some of us might find intimidating in the beginning, where it's like, oh, I'm not familiar with this dish, like I'm not going to do it. You went out there and kind of, we're pretty ambitious about it, and I appreciate that, and I applaud that, and totally respect it. Really love the pickled onions on that. Pickled onions on anything like that is just amazing, like super tasty move. So good job today.
Oh yeah, thank you, Kenji. Yes to pickled. Yes, every.
Yeah, love the pickled onions.
Oh my God, yes, so Nancy, aka Mom.
Hey, so wow. So now we have the ultimate comfort food. We have the Indian take on chili today. I think that's really interesting. I'm going to go with Kenji too. I didn't know too much about a Rajma, so I was interested in exploring it. And what I found is that it's quite often served on rice too. It's the basmati. So that could be a really hearty dish. And it, again, you could put it in anything you can freeze, you could set aside. I like the fact, as Dan mentioned, you use the trio verbs on top. I think whenever you can, and that's like that, but it would give it some color, give it a little extra look, because let's face it, that green really did enhance the flavor of the red kidney, or the look of red kidney beans and the diced tomatoes. So that was a really super touch for you. And I think that this is a dish that people should explore. Again, it's one of those all in the pot dishes. Put it in the oven, and you've got yourself a great meal for a couple of days as well. So nice job, Molly. Good work.
Boom.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
I encourage you to try it. It was not hard to make at all.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
Word. Okay. Well, we shall continue on. Just a reminder, we're going to make sure to have all the recipes available to you. So if you want to get wild and try them, they'll be there. Yeah. Just keeping it moving. So they'll be down there. Yeah. In a folder. And actually, all of the recipes will be in there, so you can check them all out. So in terms of moving, let's keep it moving on to our next contestant. Very exciting. We actually have Lee, also coming from Astoria. Really excited. Here we go. Lee, how are you doing?
I'm good. There's such an intimidating pool of talent here today.
Hey, girl.
Yeah, no, I've been living this quarantine life, so good stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to hear about your recipe. Tell us more.
Okay. So the two great loves of my life are sweet potatoes and Thai food. So I was trying to figure out a way where I could combine them. So I made a Thai sweet potato noodle bowl. yeah, like it was exciting. I bake a lot. I don't cook. So it was definitely, a stretch for me. And I made this. Is it time to show it to you yet?
Girl, yeah, you're ready. I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's see. Oh my God.
So the sweet potato noodles with some sauteed baby spinach, red peppers, red onions, and of course cashews. I just think like my favorite thing about Thai food is like all of the kind of textures and flavors kind of playing with each other, which sounded gross. But the curry I wanted to put on separately because I also never have the perfect amount of curry. So I thought that this might be an opportunity to get it right the first time. And I'm just gonna pour it over the top.
Here we go. Oh my God.
Fucking drenched. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I swore.
Totally.
So
we put that here. That was amazing.
There's that. And also to the first presenter, lime definitely like saved this dish because like I was realizing that nothing was kind of like popping until I added the lime on top, and then it just like really opened everything up. So that was also my secret weapon. And I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cam, for the support.
Yeah, getting all the different pieces of it on the fork. Amazing. Here we go. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's good. Again, I do kind of wish things were popping more than they are, but this is a really good start, and I'm looking forward to like playing with this in the future.
Dude, that's fun. Okay. Playing around with it. And we can go ahead. Let's hear from some judges. We can start with Dan. How are we feeling? It sounds pretty fun here.
I'm actually super comfortable with Thai food. I cooked it for a little while, and if there's one thing I noticed kind of right off the bat is the kind of addition of the curry to everything else afterwards, as kind of like a tableside thing. Generally, you would kind of let some of those ingredients stew in the curry to kind of add that, the bell pepper sweetness and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I would have to taste it to kind of see how it came out, because there's other things you could do, flavor the bell peppers and the curry in specific ways to kind of allow them to play with each other. And it looks like you had the lime there to kind of help, balance out the flavors as well. Cashews always a solid choice. Another solid choice is peanuts as well. Obviously not everyone can have those, but cashews, I love those as well. So, always good. And it seems like you enjoyed your own food. Everybody definitely has room for improvement, but all in all, I love Thai food and it looks delicious. Wish I could try it.
Dude, yeah, wish I could try it too. Thank you, Dan. Okay, let's keep hearing things. K-Dog, where are we at? How are we feeling, Kenji?
Miss Brain. Lee. So, I will say this. I think the presentation was really stellar. I love tableside service. I'm an absolute sucker for that. I wish your cat would have poured it, but we'll take what we can get. It looked great. I also love the fact that you took kind of like the curry concept and he kind of turned it over on its head a little bit. I mean, I do agree with Dan. Like typically, you want the flavors in curry to kind of like meld together, which is why you kind of like let it stew for a little while, and that's why it tastes best the next day. But the fact that you were kind of doing like almost like a satay sauce on top of your sweet potato zoodles was really inventive, and I really enjoyed that. Really liked that a lot. If you want like a little critique, because I'm not there to taste it, this is just a sweeping generalization, but usually salt, especially when you're using kosher salt, a little more than you would think, oftentimes really enhances a lot of the other aspects of a dish. And it will also kind of bring a little more zing and zest to the dish, in addition to the lime that you added already. But all in all, Really amazing. Love it.
Thanks, Ken.
Yeah, so amazing. Thank you, Kenji. And always love hearing the word zoodle, you know? So some final feedback about your amazing dish. Nancy, what are we feeling? What are we thinking?
Lee, did you say you were Thai? Did you say no? Okay. Oh, I was just curious. Did you really use the Thai staples? You know, the lime, the cashews, the coconut milk, and sweet potatoes. They use a lot of sweet potatoes. I'm going to agree with the lime. It always brightens up. They always say throw a little citrus into your dish, or even like if vinegar time. But the Thais particularly use lime. When you said, I have a question. You use the medium, or you use sweet potatoes and you spiral cut them, right?
Yeah.
Be your noodle. How did you do that? Did you use those little apparatuses that turn and create the noodle?
I just had a grater, and I kind of just did my best to like kind of turn the noodle as I was going,
Right.
to get full twists. But I mean, some of them really like maintained their structure as I was going. Others of them, not so much.
Well, I think, you know, so did you do that while they were raw? The potatoes
Yeah.
raw? You cooked them raw, right? Okay.
Mhm.
I'm going to recommend, I love the recipe. I love all the ingredients in this recipe. There's two things that I'm going to recommend. Number one, that you don't use light coconut milk. My friend Prani, and I've been to Thailand twice with her, she always said no light coconut milk. For this reason, it's so watered down. So you get a lot more flavor with the full fat coconut milk. I would use that. And the other thing is, cut your sweet potatoes in dice. I mean, using the same recipe and putting it over rice noodles. Much less intensive, and you would have a fabulous dish. Not that you don't have one now, but you have all the ingredients that even make it easier on yourself. So I love the dish. I definitely will make it with these ingredients, and I think that you know, I don't even know if you really need the salt all the time, but cashews, definitely. I'd rather use the cashews than the peanuts, only because cashews do come from Thailand, and we see the trees. It's amazing. So I like the fact that you brought in the sweet potatoes and you brought in even the almond butter. You really brought some good ingredients to what could be just a lackluster dish. And I think it's going to be fun for anybody that tries. But I would recommend rice noodles, drop them in some, you know, boiling water for what? A couple of minutes, and boom, you have yourself a dinner. Okay.
Ooh, amazing. Okay, thank you, Nancy, and thank you, Lee, so much for sharing your dish. We really appreciate it. It looks awesome.
Zoodles.
Yeah, hashtag zoodles. All right. Let's continue on. So exciting, so much more. So our next contestant comes to us from South Slope, Brooklyn. So basically we're neighbors. Love to bring on Holly. Holly, how are you?
Hello. I should say I haven't been able to hear Kelsey. I can hear everybody else, but I can't hear you for some reason. So that's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I assumed I was on because I saw my picture show up. But anyway, I made a moussaka that was culled together from various different recipes. Enough that one could argue it's not a moussaka anymore, but it is the chunks inside are eggplant, zucchini, and I added kidney beans for protein because that is something that people do for vegetarian moussaka. Traditionally, I think it's ground lamb. And then instead of a bechamel, it's topped with mashed potatoes. And I love when the tomatoes come bubbling up and get sort of like crusty and burned on top. To me, that's the most delicious part. To make it pretty this time, or to try to, I did some fork scoring, and to get the sort of contrasting colors, I actually took the dregs of what was in the tomato can, the canned tomato left over, and then sort of like squeegeed it out and spread it around so that it would look nice. Let's see. And this, again, is vegan. And because it was easy to just throw in the other ingredients, I too did all three. So the tomatoes, I think, are the star of the dish, but the mashed potatoes have coconut milk, and this is my first time doing the kidney beans in as fake meat, because usually it's just the eggplant and zucchini for me, but we'll see how that goes. All right, so there's my plated piece.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow. This looks, that's score.
Damn.
I'm kind of shocked at the kidney beans. Again, this is my first time trying the kidney beans, but they bring out the zucchini pretty nicely. That's I don't usually taste the zucchini that much, but it's like this earthy thing. Anyway, maybe I'll do that from now on.
Holly, this beautiful. Thank you so much. Oh my God, that scoring on top is like the MoMA open again. That was gorgeous. Oh, wow.
I usually don't, by the way, do any kind of like decorative stuff. At the heart of anything that I cook is just make a lot of it at once, because if I'm gonna stand in the kitchen and do all the dishes and stuff like that, feed myself for 2 days. And I guess a family could, it'd be a nice one tray meal for a family. But what was my other point? I don't remember.
Scoring, making things
yeah,
on.
yeah, making it pretty. So usually I don't do that. Usually I just glorp on the mashed potatoes, sort of spread it out, leave plenty of holes so that it all comes bubbling up and there are like cracks and it's like deliciously burny on top. But that's for you. That's the scoring is all for you, Cam.
Oh, you are touching me deeply right now. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Let's get some feedback for you, girl. Dan.
First of all, thank you for talking. I've been taking notes so fast. I feel like I'm earning my stripes as a judge going first. It's fine. No. I'm getting better at it. I love Middle Eastern food. Obviously, some of the elements like the eggplant are classic things you can put in there. Substituting the mashed potatoes for bechamel makes it seem like it would add this kind of whole other dimension to it, this like thickness. The coconut milk in the mashed potatoes, I've never put coconut milk in my mashed potatoes, and that's immediately something I'm going to go try. I love a casserole, kind of like a cast iron dish. Anything you can just kind of like let bake and just marry, all those flavors just meld together. The presentation looked great. When you took that bite, I felt like I can like kind of feel every element kind of, based on the way you described it. It sounds like you had decent seasonings. You could, taste the zucchini, for instance, by itself in something with so many elements. All around, it looks good. It looks really comforting. Looks like, again, wish I could try it.
Thank you, Dan. Yes, comforting faux shizzle. Kenji.
Yeah, so Holly, kind of jumping off of what Dan was talking about, if there was a comfort dish, this, whatever we're going to call this whole show, that would be it. It just looks so like, definitely just want to like sit on my couch and just cut a huge rectangle of it and watch whatever trashy show is on TV and just sit there for the rest of the day. It looked really, really great. I love the fork cuts in the top. I really enjoy the fact that you took this, very rustic dish. Moussaka is very rustic, and just kind of add your own little take on things and just really just, throw everything with the kitchen sink in there. Just there's so much whimsy in there. I really appreciate it. One little thing I did notice is it looked, maybe this is just me, but it did look a smidge on the dry side. But like I said, I'm not there to taste it, so I don't know. But it still looked absolutely amazing. And I love that nice gratin on the top. So very impressive, very impressive.
Holly, could we get some feedback maybe for Kenji here on the dry situation?
Oh yeah.
I want to see
sorry, I didn't catch that last thing that you said.
Oh, I wanted to see the sauce on the bottom. Sorry, my Brooklyn accent must be so thick.
No, it was the tech. It's not at all. So now that there's a cross section cut out, I wanted to
Oh yeah,
bring it to the
okay,
close-up.
all right,
So the top of it has that layer because it was made earlier today and it's been sitting in the oven, sort of drying out.
Okay.
But also, you know, there's like a crusty top, but the mashed potatoes are still soft in here. So there's a layer of crustiness, but you know, it's still soft under there.
I see. Good job. Good job.
How do you feel about your situation?
What?
You're amazing. Thank you so much. All right. And lastly, we have Nancy, Mom Saka.
Mom Saka, wow. Right. Gorgeous presentation. That fork scoring on the potatoes is such a nice addition to something. One of the things I never really liked about shepherd pie is these glops of potatoes on it. And I think what you did there really dressed that dish up. I think it looks, it's totally looking hearty. And I love the country comfort side to it. I wouldn't object to throwing in a little extra protein. I know it's a vegan dish. I would be happy to throw in some beef with it, or some ground beef, or ground lamb. I think as a moussaka, I think it would add a nice addition to it. It doesn't look dry to me. In fact, what I love the fact is that when you cut a square out, it held up. You know, I've talked about pies cascading and getting sloppy on the dish. You're going to have a dinner, or you're just setting it on a plate, and you can just put that nice square on the plate. It makes such a nice, clean presentation. And when you cut through with that fork, you can see every little layer and taste every little bit of texture in it. So I really think you did a great job with that recipe, and I'm very impressed. I have one question. Where did you come up with the name Frankensaka? What the heck? Frankensaka.
Oh,
is that
Franken meaning like Frankensteining? I'm just stitching together elements of different recipes. That's all that meant. It's just that I'm cannibalizing just sort of like the top of a shepherd's pie and the sort of innards of a moussaka, except that it's kidney beans from a vegetarian moussaka instead of, you know, ground lamb as it traditionally would be. So different elements all around to make it. I don't think you can really call it a moussaka because I do. But also the other thing is I think traditionally moussaka is layers. If maybe I'm wrong, but but rather than do layers, I mean, part of what you said is like the neatness of it, because anytime that I try to make something that has nice layers, like a lasagna or something, even the second that you try to cut into it, all the layers sort of like tectonic plate shift and slide around and stuff like that, and then it looks like a mess anyway. So I feel like the chunks are like hearty, but like, you know, I prefer it that way just because I think it's easier to manage, and counterintuitively the chunks are neater than layers.
Okay, so where did
I answer your question about the Franken, about the name?
The name, the Franken. Where did you pull that? You know, I get the Saka part, but where did you come up with Franken? What was that relative to in the dish?
Frankenstein.
Oh.
Frankenstein.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. And why Frankenstein?
Sorry.
It was like a play on words, Mom.
Okay, so I'm thinking, all right, I missed it completely. I've been drinking too much wine. Sorry. We'll move on, but I'll tell you, I love that dish. It looks wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
Great title and a great dish, Holly. It's also so nice to have you can make in bulk. I mean, I can only say like food that I've been making for myself. I try to make huge quantities and then eat it in quarantine. So it's also really helpful. Thank you for sharing a dish that you can make a bunch of and then eat for a long time.
Yeah. And that's partly why it's vegan too, because in quarantine meat is expensive and kind of problematic right now for, you know, just worldwide.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you.
Dude, one left. One. What's going on? What's happening? What?
I don't know.
So fast. All right. Let's do it. Coming to us from Harlem, New York. My beautiful neighbor, Marjorie Gomez.
Hey, Cam and Kelsey. Hi, how are you guys?
Hey.
All right. Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, Thank you for being here.
Disclaimer, I'm not a cook. I don't cook very often. And if this was happening at any other time, my mom would probably have came over. But considering that she's quarantining in her home and not here, I couldn't ask her for help. So instead of cooking a Dominican dish, I went for something that I was craving, and I was craving, drum roll, curry. So here we go. So I went with a cauliflower coconut curry with sweet potato and cauliflower base. There's no meat in it, just because I'm leaving my home for a couple of days, and so I wanted to give it out to a couple of friends, maybe curbside drop off, and a couple of my friends are vegan, so I figured let me cook something that they would probably enjoy too. So I used, like your mom said earlier, about using non-light coconut milk. I read that it was probably better for the dish, for the richness and stuff. And I used Marzano tomatoes also, which I bought them whole, but I chopped them off myself. Overall, the recipe that I used only took about 30 minutes because it's perfect. I don't like to be in the kitchen too long. And here it is.
Ooh.
I served it over rice, and I actually just used that's my dog. Right. I just used my instant pot to cook rice for the first time, and it was the easiest thing ever. So I'm really excited about that.
Beautiful. Oh my God, Marjorie, thank you so much, and thank you for having a dog. Let us know like. Oh.
Look at the food, not the camera.
Oh.
All right, so I guess I should try this, right?
Please.
Oh yeah.
I like it. It's good. I've never tried this dish. I've made some chicken-based curry, like a green chicken curry, but I've never tried it just with well, more like a red curry and veggie base. But it's really good. I like it.
Good. Great. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Marjorie. Let's get some feedback. I also think that your dog wants to try it, if I'm not.
I think so too.
All right. So going to our man first of the hour, Dan.
I mean, first of all, I just want to say, in regards to like Lee and yourself and anybody else, I mean, it doesn't matter like how much experience you have. I mean, if you can cook good food is good food. You know what I mean? You've made it this far. So, I mean, she said she's a baker, so it's like, cooking savory food. I mean, for me as a savory cook, I bake to challenge myself. So, I think it's a welcome challenge. It looks really good. I love vegan food in general. I'm not vegan myself, but I personally think it should kind of be normalized, from just a lot of different points of view. But to that point, based on kind of your explanation of your technique, 30 minutes, I would kind of say is like kind of bare minimum I would like simmer a curry for. For me, the longer the better. The best curries I've ever made have been, 4 hours at least, and then you let it sit to room temperature before you taste it, because you really want to like let those those flavors really meld together, especially because there's no meat in it, and we've just been kind of functioned to rely on fats from meats to kind of create that flavor for us. Because a lot of the fat in your dish is coming from the coconut milk. It's going to be like an inherent sweetness to it. So when you're working with a lot of veggies, you really want to make sure your seasoning is on point. Not just seasoning them separately before they go into the curry, but making sure the curry itself is seasoned properly. Again, just because of the lack of natural fats within it. But moving on, the presentation I think looked great. It looks like a really great kind of home style dish, something my mom would serve up. Got some, classic curry and rice kind of thing. I love cauliflower. I love sweet potato. All in all, I think it looks good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Totally.
Awesome.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Kenji.
So, Marjorie, kind of going off what Dan said, you don't really have to worry about the whole like cooking as a profession thing, because that does not translate to actually like cooking good food. I've met a lot of, very talented or experienced cooks, I'm sorry, that aren't very talented and can't cook. And then I've met some amazing, amazing people that just can cook wonderfully without any prior knowledge or experience. I think the best thing you could possibly ask for is just having a good palate and just knowing the difference between what tastes great and what doesn't, or what tastes incomplete and might need better balancing, or might need an accent from one of, whatever taste you're missing for that dish. I think you did a really great job. I really like how you kind of added the spinach at the last minute to just give a very light wilt, but not like cook it in there to mush. I love rice. I mean, my half Japanese side is kind of showing now, and freaking rice with the curry. Oh my God. I think I have some Japanese curry in my fridge. Actually, I might eat that after this. Oh God, so good. So good. I'm drilling a little thinking about it now. And also, definitely the use of your vegetables in the curry, I think, was really nice. I know cauliflower can kind of be sometimes a shoo-in for like a vegetarian or vegan adjustment to dishes, but I think it works really well here and doesn't deserve to be considered any less than. So very, very good job. I mean, once again, it does not get any easier. I don't know why you made me do this, Cam. It's really, really hard every week.
Aw.
I know, and I'm so sorry, but you're here.
Okay, you owe me one.
Marjorie, we gonna get one last feedback for our last beautiful contestant of this whole thing.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you, we've been bowled over with some great dishes today. And I think we've been able to see the virtues of coconut with curry. And we've got them in different variations. So that's been a real plus. That's not diminishing anything from any one of our contestants. All of you brought something interesting. And I'm going to follow up on Kenji's coattails. You know what? There are people that live to eat and those that eat to live. Yes. If you live to eat, you're going to be a good cook. I can also say that I followed years and years ago when I couldn't even boil water, as everybody would start with. And now, while I'm eating lunch, I'm thinking what I'm going to be cooking for dinner. And the fact that you can find a good recipe is going to make you a good cook. Techniques will come along the way. And if you pick up, there's so much on the internet, you're going to do great. And I think you found a fabulous recipe with the cauliflower. Okay, I'm so over the cauliflower rice. Okay, let's use real rice. And let's use some good cauliflower. And again, coconut and curry is such a nice marriage. And I think we've seen it in dishes, but everybody's added their own little signature to it. So Marjorie, give yourself a high five. You did a great job. And this is going to be a good dish for somebody to follow up. And the fact that it only takes 30 minutes, you're my kind of girl.
Yeah, thank you.
Marjorie, it's also amazing that you making that dish and you're taking it curbside to your friends. I think, but that's also such a beautiful sentiment right now, because it feels really good to have, and curry such a comforting dish. Like, what a lovely gift at this time.
Do you want them? I'll bring some over.
You after this show, okay? But you're amazing.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Oh my God. Gorgeous. Wow.
Dude, yeah. Aw. Well, thank you everyone so much. Thank you to our judges. So right now the judges are going to be sending in their votes. We also encourage anyone watching to go ahead and vote as well. So there's a link below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And, thank you so much for watching as well.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And also just another reminder that all of these recipes are in a folder that is in a link below. And as Kels mentioned, so are all the recipes from the whole Battle of the Cans experience. So it's crazy how badass people are in their kitchen. Mind blowing. So definitely get in on that. And please, you guys are killing the live comments right now, and we're gonna get to them in a second. And please we love continuing to hear what you're making. Whether that was I ate a marshmallow with a carrot, and just let us know. Going on.
Good. Inspire us.
Mm-hmm. And I think it might be, well, first, actually, we have a little special extra thing today. Holly, who made the Franken Saka, she is an overachiever. And not only did she use all 3 of the cans in the dish that she did, but as just kind of an experiment, she tried making a dessert using tomatoes, kidney beans, and tomato. So we're just gonna see, like, how is that even possible? So if we could just go to Holly really fast.
Hello. I had to switch devices because it was so bad on the other thing. Sorry, I could barely hear anything anybody was saying earlier. It's all good now, and I can hear Kelsey now. Right. Happy Mother's Day. This is a cheesecake. It's coconut milk cheesecake. The crust is a brownie that's made with kidney beans. You know, like black bean brownies, it's kidney bean brownies, which surprisingly, I think I like them better than black bean brownies. The top part didn't work out so well. It's a tomato gelatin layer. It kind of looks fine on this camera, but in real life, it's not as pretty as, like, you know, that strawberry layer that's sometimes on a cheesecake. But anyway, I tasted it earlier today. It's surprisingly good. I didn't put the recipe in because I wasn't going to compete with it. But if people are curious, I can write it up. But anyway, that's that.
Holly, that's so like risky and like.
Why I did not enter it into the competition.
It's just like a tomato gelatin.
Dude, yeah, never heard of that. I like it.
Invent that. Like in all things, it's an existing recipe. I think the thing that I found that I looked up does have that glaze, but I think the cheesecake part has like ricotta, so it's a little more savory, and I think there's basil in the graham cracker crust, so it's a little more savory, kind of skirts that line in the real recipe. I'm just surprised that it doesn't taste like garbage. That's good.
I think it's amazing.
Dude, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with us. It's awesome.
Yay. Happy birthday.
All right.
Bye.
I love it that people are like, I'm going to give it a go. Let me try this out. Like, I
mean, if we can have cheesecake as our main meal instead of dessert, you know, why not?
Oh, right. Two last things. Also, just one last shout out to the Migrant Kitchen. If you can, they're charity, and they're really amazing, and they're putting all their efforts towards getting food to the frontline workers in New York. So please, extra bones. They've been our jam. So just click on the link below as well. It's another link below. And last, we're gonna bring out Paul.
Oh yeah.
Paul is our resident technician and bartender. Hello, sir.
Hey, how's it going, you guys?
Hey.
Good. Good.
Doing all right. So this week was a little bit of a challenge to come up with drinks because my first inclination was like, let's just jump into the easy side of Bloody Mary. But I was like, people know how to make a Bloody Mary. I mean, maybe they don't have all the ingredients to like make the Bloody Mary mix, but you can go buy that. Or once you've made that at home yourself, can't we do something a little bit more interesting? And yes, we can. Just a little bit. So the first thing I want to offer, because I'm bringing up two, and the first thing I actually really wanted to offer was sort of a cheater's michelada. So if you are not a fan of micheladas yet, become one. All you need is basically like a Bloody Mary mix or even a few of the ingredients from it, but the tomato, the hot sauce, the Worcestershire, and then a cheap Mexican beer over ice with a salted rim, and that sucker goes down so smooth. And it's great for these sunny days that we're starting to get, and I love it. But also I was like, well, I've made all this Bloody Mary mix because it's hard to make small batches. And once you have a lot of it, sometimes you just got to get rid of it. And one of my favorite shots in the world is a pain to order at a bar, but it's a lot of fun to make for your friends. And it's called a Rooster Tail.
Oh.
And a Rooster Tail is actually 3 shots lined up. So it's a shot of tequila, a shot of your Bloody Mary mix, and a shot of orange juice sort of as a palate cleanser. It's like having a Bloody Maria that goes down really fast and real easy.
Oh my God.
Cool.
That looks amazing. Paul, I also love that you come up with shots. Whether you're like, And then I think we all need shots. Those look incredible. The cocktails I came up for this week used coconut milk, and I mean, it's a good time. And this one is called Nothing Compares to You, and it's made with an orange creamsicle with so it's a really nice kind of frothy, creamy drink, but it also has some of the bitterness from the Campari. And so that recipe is below. And another one that I didn't make to show on camera, but involves whipped coffee and coconut milk. Everyone's been making whipped coffee in quarantine. Yes. It's been super popular. So it's another really frothy sort of drink, but it has a little bit of kick and some vodka. So it's like a really nice like afternoon drink to just, have a little perk up, Okay. Well, what are people making, right? Do you see, or let's look over at the situation here. Oh, Terry. Whoa.
Oh my God.
My God. This sounds incredible. Papers? Yes. Okay. That is, you are living a good life. We can be within 6 feet of each other soon. It's going to happen.
Dude, yeah, that and some shots. There we go.
It's amazing. We have Mo. Mo is still eating chicken pot pie.
F yeah, girl.
That was episode 2.
Biscuits. Yeah.
God, yeah, biscuits every day. But yeah, that I bet is still delish. Oh, okay. Well, that is correct.
Hashtag truth. You'll know it.
I love spooning. Yes, I love it. Yes. That's all good. It's all good. How are we? Do we have a?
Is it time? It is time.
We have a winner.
We have a winner. Do. So our winner today is Holly.
Oh, Holly!
Woo! And she's back.
Thanks, Frankenstein.
Oh my God! Congratulations, girl! So exciting.
I cleaned my plate while you guys were working.
Good. Excellent.
Good time.
Oh, well, Holly, thank you so much. You did amazing.
Thank you, guys. This is awesome.
This was so fun. Your sweater also makes me feel like we could be outside, and it gives me hope. Thank you for that.
Some green with some sun.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone. Seriously, I mean, today, all the contestants, you guys, they were just all beautiful, colorful, flavorful, extraordinary things. The judges, you guys, I mean, Dan, you joined us today. You were incredible. And every week, Kenji, Mom, Sarah, I mean, it's just, everyone's been great. Paul, we love you. Kels, you're the best.
Girl, you're the best. Before we sign off, just really quickly, because it's Mother's Day, Anita Benson, love you, girl.
Oh. Diana.
Just thank you, everyone. It's been really, really amazing, and a lot of creativity, a lot of soul. It's been awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shout out to your mom, Ryu.
Diana Pervine, you are the best. Thank you.
Woo!
It's great. Let's celebrate the people in our lives.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Take care. Bye.